So I remember getting there about noon, and Hogan was already there, and I'm walking down the hall. Red flag number one. Red flag number one. Right. So, he goes, "Hey kid, can I talk to you?" Right. So we go into one of the locker rooms into the shower. The Undertaker is finally opening up about his earliest encounters with Hulk Hogan. And let's just say, Hogan might not be the hero fans once believed he was. From disturbing backstage behavior to quiet manipulation, Undertaker is now shedding light on Hogan's victims. Let me break it down. A shocking revelation. The wrestling world was forever changed on November 27th, 1991 at Survivor Series, when a relatively unknown supernatural character known as The Undertaker defeated the mighty Hulk Hogan to capture his first WWE championship. What should have career-defining moment for the young Mark Calloway became instead a masterclass in backstage manipulation and political maneuvering that would haunt him for decades to come. To truly understand the magnitude of what transpired, we need to transport ourselves back to that pivotal moment in wrestling history. The Undertaker, barely 1 year into his WWE career, was about to face the biggest star in the company, perhaps the biggest star wrestling history. Hulk Hogan wasn't just the champion, he was the golden goose. The man who had carried WWE through its most successful period. The larger-than-life character who had transcended wrestling to become a global phenomenon. But something was different about this particular day. As The Undertaker would later reveal in a candid interview, the setup began before the match even started. In a revelation that sent shockwaves through the wrestling community, The Undertaker exposed the calculated nature of what many had assumed was a legitimate injury. The confrontation began early that day, as The Undertaker recalls. So back then, we would usually show up noon, on a TV or pay-per-view day. We show up at the arena around noon, 1 o'clock. Hogan would roll in about 4 or 5. So I remember getting there about noon, and Hogan was already there. This seemingly innocent detail would prove to be the first red flag in what The Undertaker now recognizes as an elaborate setup. The fact that Hogan, who was notorious for arriving late to shows, was already at the arena hours before his usual time, should have been a warning sign. But The Undertaker, young and eager to prove himself, had no idea what was coming. The setup continued as Hogan approached the young wrestler with what seemed like genuine concern. Red flag number one. Red flag number one. Right. So, he goes, "Hey kid, can I talk to you?" Right. So, we go into one of the locker rooms into the shower. Right. That's where all the business was always done. Hogan's performance was Oscar-worthy, as The Undertaker recalls. So, he's telling me, he goes, "Hey, I got this neck injury." He says, "I'm really nervous about taking your finish." The Undertaker's response showed his professionalism and dedication to wrestler safety. And I was like, "Hulk, believe me?" I said, "I will protect you. I pride myself on not hurting people, and I promise you I will have you so tight that there's no way possible that you're going to hurt your neck." The mental pressure continued throughout the day, as The Undertaker describes. Every point during the day, I'd pass him in the hall or whatnot. I'd get the, remember about my neck, right? So that's all L got all day. It was, my neck. When the match finally took place, The Undertaker executed the tombstone piledriver with the utmost care and precision. He had Hogan secured so tightly that there was virtually no risk of injury. The execution was flawless, but Hogan's reaction was immediate. I pick him up, and when I tell you L had the brother secure, He was secure. Boom. I gave him the tombstone. As soon as my knees hit, I hear, "Oh, you got me, brother." My neck and my back, my neck and my back. When other wrestlers began to speak up, the truth started to emerge. I was gone because there's no Monday Night Raw. We had house shows. So, I finally got see it. But by now, a lot of the boys that come up to me and they're like shaking their head like his head never got anywhere close to the mat. And you watch it back, you can tell his head's never touched. And so now in this precarious situation, like, I'm still a greenhorn, right? I mean, and now I've got to confront, the face of wrestling, the biggest draw, ever. The confrontation finally came in San Antonio, and Hogan's response revealed everything the Undertaker needed to know. Approximately the person in the back of the man or woman. But the Undertaker's revel-in became a ways from unique. As extra wrestlers commenced to speak out approximately their encounters with Hulk Hogan, an annoying sample of manipulation and profession sabotage commenced to emerge that might span many years of expert wrestling. Perhaps no wrestler's accusations towards Hulk Hogan are extra explosive or well-documented than the ones of Bret the Hitman Hart. Hart's allegations middle around what he believes became a damaged promise that essentially altered the trajectory of his profession. The story starts off evolved at WrestleMania 9th in 1993, in which Hart became protecting the WWE Championship towards Yokozuna. After Hart misplaced because of interference, Hogan seemed and defeated Yokozuna in an impromptu suit lasting much less than 30 NDS, absolutely overshadowing Hart's moment. According to Hart's detailed account, Hogan had promised him after the suit that he might go back the favor with the aid of setting Hart over in a future encounter. However, whilst the time got here for his or her deliberate SummerSlam 1993 suit, Hogan refused to satisfy his commitment. The behind-the-curtain war of words that accompanied became witnessed with the aid of using numerous people, including Brutus Beefcake, Jimmy Hart, and referee Dave Hebner. Hart's recollection of the war of words famous the intensity of his frustration. He instructed Hogan directly, "You instructed me at WrestleMania 9th that you'll be satisfied to go back the favor, and as I understand it, now you do not need to even paintings with me. You might not placed me over, and I'm now no longer on your league." Hart's anger reached its boiling factor as he concluded, "On behalf of myself, my family, and maximum of the lads inside the dressing room, you can cross yourself." Hogan's dismissive reaction to Hart's accusations has persevered for many years. In a 2018 Twitter exchange, whilst a fan stated Hart in 1993, Hogan spoke back with condescension. "Back earlier than you have been born, we have been nevertheless drawing massive money. His technology failed to begin yet, lol." This reaction famous Hogan's mindset toward Hart even many years later, dismissive of Hart's skills and achievements, no matter Hart being the champion and main eventer on the time. The sample persevered with Shawn Michaels, who additionally got here ahead with comparable accusations. Michaels alleged that Hogan subsidized out of a deliberate high quality of 3 series, forcing Michaels to lose at SummerSlam 2005, impacting his potential to gain momentum in the course of what became speculated to be his comeback period. But possibly maximum devastating became Hogan's assault on hardcore legend Mick Foley. In 2002, Hogan made comments that have been now no longer just professionally damaging, however personally cruel, calling Foley a glorified stunt guy and claiming he educated extra in a week than Foley had in 30 years. Hogan's assault on Foley's paintings ethic became specially vicious, suggesting that Foley became lazy and unprofessional, while Hogan maintained advanced field and education standards. The psychological manipulation became clean with the aid of attacking Foley's man or woman and paintings ethic publicly. Hogan became trying to lessen Foley's status inside the wrestling network and with fans. Foley's reaction became measured, however pointed, protecting his report with the aid of referencing his suits with pinnacle stars like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Shawn Michaels. He known as Hogan's claims lies and sort of cruel, while additionally suggesting that Hogan might warfare in a suit with him because of disliking bodily contact. The maximum surprising revelation got here in 2018, whilst Hogan himself admitted to the use of politics to preserve his function on the pinnacle of the wrestling world. During an interview with the Orlando Sentinel, Hogan stated, "Once I were given with inside the pinnacle spot to hold the spot, it really is in which the politics come in." And similarly claimed, "That's why I made extra cash than anybody. That's why I stored the belt longer. That's why rather than a 5 or 6 or 10 to 12 months run, just like the Rocker Stone Cold or different wrestlers, I had a 35 to 12 months run on Pinnacle." While Hogan's admission failed to explicitly call the wrestlers he held down, numerous wrestlers have publicly accused him of such behavior, especially with Inside.